Hello everyone, we are the Group 1 and let us present to all of you our presentation entitled Intellectual Revolutions that Define Society. At the end of the discussion, the students should be able to first, define intellectual revolutions, and for the second one, identify the intellectual revolutions that define society. And for the last one, discuss or explain the paradigm shifts of how the intellectual revolutions change the way humans see the world. So what is intellectual revolution? The intellectual revolution pertains to the period of paradigm shifts or changes in the scientific beliefs that have been widely embraced and accepted by the people. It is also used to refer Greek speculations about the nature in the period before the Socrates. Hence, the alternative learning terms are pre-Socratic, or non-theological, or first philosophy.
First is the Copernican revolution, shift in the field of astronomy from a geocentric understanding of the universe centered around Earth to a heliocentric understanding centered around the Sun as articulated by the Polish astronomer Nicolaus Copernicus in the 16th century. Nicolaus Copernicus was a Polish astronomer known as the father of modern astronomy. He was the first modern European scientist to propose that Earth and other planets revolve around the Sun, or the heliocentric theory of the universe.
Claudius Ptolemy, a famous astronomer and philosopher, he stated that the planet, as well as the Sun and the Moon, move in a circular motion around the Earth. Geocentrism. The Sun and Moon's revolution explained the existence of days and nights. He believed that the Earth was at the center, a concept known as geocentrism. Geo or GEO means Earth.
Heliocentrism. He introduced a new concept known as heliocentrism, which suggested that the center of the solar system was not the Earth but actually the Sun. Helio means sun and centric means center. Change the word. Nicholas changed how educated human beings viewed the world by constructing the heliocentric theory of Earth's relation to the Sun. According to the heliocentric theory, Earth and other planets revolve around the Sun.
Darwinian Revolution. The Darwinian Revolution remains as acceptable base to describe the change in thought brought about by the theory of evolution, provided that the revolution is seen as occurring over an extended prior period of time. The decades from the 1790s through the 1850s are at the focus of this article.
Charles Robert Darwin was an English naturalist, geologist, and biologist, best known for his contribution to evolutionary biology. He is well known for his book entitled Origin of Species. Charles Darwin's theory of evolution states that evolution happened by natural selection. Individuals in a species show variation in physical characteristics. This variation is because of the difference in their genes, and only the fittest would survive.
As Charles Darwin's theory of evolution contradicted of the teaching of the Church, it is no surprise that become an enemy of the Church. Darwinism allowed us to gain a better understanding of our world, which will turn around as the change of the way that we think. The theory of evolution seemed to gain religious teaching of the God made of earth of creating of living things as they knew them. Christians believed that God has created humans in His own image, that humans were superior to all creatures and had a soul that are mortal.
And the last one is the Freudian Revolution. Freudian Revolution relates to the ideas or methods of Sigmund Freud, especially those about how people hidden thought and feelings influence their behavior with respect to the causes and treatment of neurotic and psychopathic states, the interpretation of dreams, etc. Sigmund Freud, considered father of psychiatry, qualified as a doctor in medicine in 1881, became a teacher in neuropathy in 1902. One of his most enduring ideas is the concept of unconscious mind, which is a reservoir of thought, memories, and emotion that lie outside the awareness of the conscious mind. He also proposed the personality was made up of three key elements: the ID, the ego, and the superego.
ID is the unconscious part of the mind, meets basic needs and seeks to bring us pleasure. It's the most important in keeping us alive. An example ID is Sally as thirsty and rather than waiting from the server to refill his glass of water, she reached across the table and drank from Mr. Smith's water glass, much to his surprise. Ego. It is a conscious part of the mind. It's aware of reality. It's defined as the view to the person of himself. An example of ego, the way that you look at yourself and thinking you are the smartest person on the earth.
Superego. Superego is a part of a person's mind or personality that tells them how to behave based on their learned moral and values, or the unconscious part of the mind that acts as our conscience. An example of superego is a person deciding to return a wallet containing $200 to its owner. Freud's most obvious impact was to change the way society thought and dealt with mental illness. Before psychoanalysis, which Freud invented, mental illness was almost universally considered organic, that is, it was thought to come from some kind of deterioration or disease of the brain.